Hi, this is Kamera. Points in the Bible, day number 11, Genesis chapter 32 through 34. Jacob, he's on his way back to his homeland, leaving his father in law. And scripture tells us that angels met Jacob on this journey. And that's encouraging to us, let us know that angels are here to help us. Scripture tells us that angels are servants of God meant to help us here on earth. So we thank God for his angels. Jacob, he sends messengers to his brother to let his brother know that he's coming back home. And he wants to make sure that it's all good between the two of them. Remember, when they parted, it was not good. His brother wanted to kill him. But get this, when the messenger comes back, his servant tells him that Esau is on his way to meet with Jacob with an army of 400 men. You have every right to be scared, Jacob. Because we don't know what to expect. There are no cell phones to text, right? And so, yeah, he's petrified. And he does what we should do when we're overwhelmed and have no idea what to do instead of worrying. We take it to the one who is the creator of all things. He prays. He talks to God, tells God, first he recognizes God. He shares his fears with God, remind God what he said about keeping him safe, protecting him, letting him know, you know, his fears. That's the big thing. What gets me is that he shares those fears, but he also reminds God that he's protected. God is his protector, and reminds God of the future promises. And then he does what he can, what only he can do. All he can do. He took his resources, and he took some of his animals, divided them in three, sent them ahead of him with a servant leading each one of them in different groups, with a message to his brother, hoping to appease his brother by the time he get to Jacob. And later that night, he took his family and put them on the other side of the river, went back to camp alone. So I love the fact that he did all he could do within his power. And I believe that's what God wants us to do. Whatever he blesses us with, that's what we do to not only to make peace, but to do all we can with what we have, what he blesses us with. And that alone time, we need that alone time to meditate on God, to talk to God, and to hear from God. What happens is there's this man that comes and he wrestles with Jacob until dawn. And he wants to be released, but Jacob said, I'm not letting you go until you bless me. And of course, this man had to do something to Jacob, but then he blesses Jacob. He changed his mind to Israel because he tells him, you fought with man and God and you have won. And he blesses Jacob. Isn't that something? When things are overwhelming, it's just wise to just get that alone time to really talk to God, to meditate on God, to listen to God and wrestle with him if we have to. I mean, go deep. Sometimes we have to fast in order to hear what our next step is going to be. And so, yeah, so the next day, as he prepared, continue his journey with his wives, and his brother approaches him. And his brother is like, what's all this, this reception is about? Jacob's like, I just want to make sure that we're good, and these gifts are for you. God has been good to me and blessed me with all of this. I've been hanging out with our uncle, introduces his family to his brother. And his brother said, oh, we're good. I have more than enough, And, they weep, they embrace, and they're happy. And Jacob will let them know, it's just good to see you, And so eventually they part. Jacob goes to Shechem. And I love the fact that Jacob and his brother came together. Jacob did all he could to make peace, but God blesses him with peace between him and his brother. Isn't that something? And so in Shechem, his daughter Dinah is raped by the prince of Shechem, whose name is Shechem, and this prince Shechem, he's now in love with Dinah. He wants to marry Dinah. Her brothers don't agree with that. They are terrible. They are upset. They're devastated. and they are not happy about what happened. You disgraced our sister. This should not have happened. And so you have Shechem and his father Hamor, who decides they want to, he wants to marry Dinah. Yeah. And not only that, they want their people to intermarry with Jacob's people. Remember, God said that shouldn't be. That He doesn't want them to. Well, actually, did He tell them yet? Not even certain if He told them that yet. I don't think He told them that yet. But they're not supposed to, right? Anyway, they didn't agree with it. The boys didn't agree with it, but they dishonestly told them they would go ahead and do that. But there's a custom that they need to follow. Those men of Shechem need to be circumcised. And they agreed to it. Shechem, he was very popular with the people, and they honored him, and they went for it. 3 days later, Dinah's full brothers, Simeon and Levi, they slaughtered all the men. The men were at a disadvantage. They were still sore, and they slaughtered every last one of the guys. The other brothers come along, and they see the slaughtered men. They plunder everything. They take everything, including the women and the children, as captive. And Jacob, he is not happy with what has happened. God said He will bless those who bless Jacob, and He will curse those who curse Jacob. God used his boy's personality to accomplish that. Yeah, to kill those guys. I'm not saying what they did was good. God is definitely going to get them. But you see what happens when we let anger surface and try to seek our own justice. They allowed that to happen, and they killed those men. Yeah. So there are a few points here, guys, and I've given a few, but if you have something you'd like to share, please place them in the comments. Yeah, points in the Bible. This is day number 11, Genesis chapter 32 through 34. You have a God-filled, blessed day.